What if you only have 1 week to prepare for SHTF? Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. I'm Ginny, and today I just want to talk a little bit about what if next week SHTF happens. Are you ready? Are you really prepared for everything to go down? Crises going on around the world. We really need to be prepared for what if it's tomorrow? What if it's next week? What if it's next month? SHTF can happen at any time. And personally, I think we're already in an SHTF situation. Stuff has happened and it has hit the fan. Things are definitely chaotic and crazy in the world that we live in today. And we need to be ready for more of this to happen. And anything can happen. We could have a complete collapse. We could go into a really deep depression that makes the Great Depression look like a cakewalk. We could also, at any point, a nuclear war could break out. A civil war could break out. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and we need to be ready now in case it does happen tomorrow or next week. If you knew that next week SHTF was going to happen and things were going to be huge, what would you do? Would you double check your food stores? Would you double check how much ammo you have? Would you check to see where nuclear targets are? There are many different scenarios, and we need to be prepared for them. And if we know ahead of time, especially with like a nuclear war, if we know ahead of time that this is a possibility, this could happen, it could save a lot of lives. There are many, you can just look online where nuclear targets are, and if you're in that area, fleeing from that area is definitely a good idea. If you're within that zone, it would definitely wipe everything out, a nuclear war. And we need to be prepared for that. So if you thought that this was going to happen next week, would you leave? Some people have no other place that they would go. They don't know where to go, or they're not sure when to go or anything like that. But I think being prepared ahead of time, even if it's 3 months down the road, at least you're ready. You're prepared for it. What other things could you do in that situation? Do you have the appropriate supplies? Gas mask, a way to escape, a way to protect yourself, medication in case of nuclear radiation, things like that. There are all sorts of things that can be done, and everyone needs to look at where they are and what can happen in their area. A lot of times, if people are aware of their surroundings, it can help them, especially in those situations. A lot of people are not aware of their surroundings. They don't know what's going on around them. Too many people are on the phone. You know, this is the society we live in, unfortunately. They're busy paying attention to other things, not paying attention to what's going on around them. And we really need to do that as far as when we're out in public, what's going on in our areas also, what is going on in our states, our government. We need to pay attention to all of that stuff, because unfortunately, things can change on a dime. We don't know what's going to happen, and we need to get ready. So I really think no matter what you're preparing for, taking some time to really look at what can happen and what would I do if it happened next week. If I knew this was going to happen next week, what would I do? How are you going to handle that situation? Would you call loved ones and let them know that you love them? Most people, of course, they would. And things like that. Do that now. Make sure that you are in the practice of doing these things. Double checking your food supplies, your first aid supplies, your cooking supplies. Do you have what you need if the grid goes down for an extended period of time? Do you have what you need to cook on an open fire outside? Or do you have enough gas to last you for how long? It's it's going to run out. Things are going to run out. So I think that in any extended emergencies, we need to be prepared for that really long-term stuff. If the grid went down, if we had an EMP and the grid goes down for, let's say, 2 to 3 years in some parts, it could happen, then you're going to run out of gas in a couple of weeks. You're going to run out of, candles. You're going to run out of all this stuff. How else are you going to make it work? What else can you do? I try to look at all these different areas of how can I do this if I had no electricity for 2, 5, 10 years. I mean, how could I make this work? Do I have the appropriate kitchen tools, cooking tools, the way to heat my family? Things like that. We really want to pay attention to all this stuff and make sure that all our I's are dotted and all our T's are crossed, because this can happen at any moment. In a moment's notice, the whole world can change. And we really need to be prepared, because with such a chaotic and insane world that we are living in currently, things are changing drastically in just a moment's notice. We don't know what it's going to hold for us. We really, really need to be ready for this. So if you are noticing that you don't have enough grains, or you don't have enough proteins, or you don't have any cast iron cookware can really handle that heat. If you have to cook on an open fire or on a barbecue pit, or however you have to do it, you can cook on an electric burner with it. They're great for all sorts of stuff, but they can handle that heat from a campfire or open pit or something like that, which is really nice. And making sure, if you have to protect your stuff, if you are stocking up, if you are getting prepared, you are going to have to protect your things. You're going to need protection for you and your family. And I know a lot of people do not want to think about owning a gun or anything like that, but you've got to be able to protect yourself and your family. When people are hungry, when things go crazy, people do crazy things. God help us. I hope that no one ever has to do anything like that. But the reality is there are a lot of mentally ill people in this country. We see it all the time. We see different actions that they do, different things. They're horrendous. No one in their right mind would do these things. We have a mental health problem, and we need to be aware of it and pay attention to it. And because that really is a lot of the stuff that goes on in this country. So this video really is about lighting a fire under your butt, making sure you have what you need, being prepared at a moment's notice. If you knew next week that there was going to be SHTF, what would you do? I think now is the time to do those things. Get ready. I don't know that anything's going to happen next week. None of us know. It could be in a month. It may be never. We never really know what's going to happen. But if we're prepared for it, we're much more likely to get through it. And that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.